home studio addicts. Thanks for checking out the Home Recording Network. Today we have a video on how to achieve a wide mix. Why is this important? Because the only thing that's better than louder is wider. A wide mix is essential if you want your music to sound professional, because this creates space between certain elements of your mix. And as with everything, there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. So I'm going to show you today how I achieve wider mixes. So stick with me here. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to be doing in order to achieve a wider mix. And a lot of this stuff is pretty simple, but it's things that you may not be doing in your own mixes. And I'm not just talking about things like stereo with plugins, but I am going to show you how I use those. And I'll also give you a tip on a nice free one if you don't have one at the end of the video. So the first thing I'm going to do here is play a little bit of this song. And I'm going to pull up this BX meter here, which enables me to put this thing in mono for you guys. So I'll play the chorus, and at certain points I'll switch it to mono, which will drop out the sides, so you'll see how loud the sides actually are.
We better run. Your words are poisonous to me. It's a chemical, emotionless retreat. Your words are poisonous to me. It's a chemical, emotionless retreat.
Yeah, so that should really give you an idea of how wide this mix is when I drop out those sides and put them back in. Now, obviously, the key here is panning. Most of this has to do with panning. So the main key here is to either hard pan a track or leave it in the center. So here's this guitar solo that is just right up the middle, right? Well, if I started panning things a little bit over to the left or right, and I start panning multiple tracks like that, the mix is going to seem narrower if I have tons of space being eaten up in between this hard pan position and the center. And the reason for that is that us as humans are going to perceive the mix to be wider if there are tracks up the middle, and then we hear maybe a few tracks on the side, say the guitars and the synth, the overheads to the drums. If those are panned wide and then mostly everything else is up the middle, the mix is going to seem wide. But if we start eating up space in between, then we are going to perceive the mix as being more narrow. Now, a lot of these tracks actually look to be up the middle when they're actually panned wide. So this rhythm guitar track is actually a guitar pan to the left and a guitar hard pan to the right. So if we solo this, you can tell that right away. Yeah, so it looks like that's up the center, but this is actually two guitars hard panned. And it's the same deal with a lot of my backup vocal tracks. They're just one track, but it's really two versions of the singer just hard panned.
Your words are poisonous to me.
So basically, every track in this song is either right up the middle or panned hard right or hard left. Now, certain things are not done that way. And if we look in the mixer, it's really only the toms. So the tom mics, I always like to do my rack toms about 25 to either side. And then for floor toms, I pan them 45. But really, those are the only things in my mix that are kind of eating up that space in between. Now that we've shown you that, we can talk stereo widening plugins. But Don't think that you can have a narrow mix and then just fix it with a stereo width plugin, because you really have to start with your correct panning first. So my plugin of choice for stereo widening is this BX Digital version 3. And this is a great plugin for mastering, but I also like to throw it on my mix bus just for this purpose. So this plugin actually has just a stereo with knob. It's real easy to use, and what this knob does essentially is just turn up the volume of the sides of the mix. So I'll start with it at just 100% where it starts, and I'll bring it up, and you can see how it's loudening the sides.
Your words are poisonous to me. It's a chemical, emotionless retreat. Your word.
Yeah, and I have it at 115%, but I still think this mix can be a bit wider, and that'll probably be done in mastering. You can actually get pretty aggressive here. I've seen pro mixers go pretty big with this stereo width knob using this plugin. Um, but I decided to stay a little bit modest because my mix was already nice and wide, before even throwing this plugin on the mix. So if you don't have this plugin, or you can't afford it, or don't want to buy it, there is a free plugin that you can download, and it's by Brainworks. But if you sign up for a free Plugin Alliance account, you get a bunch of free plugins when you sign up. So you guys should all do that. But the plugin that you're going to want to look for is the BX Solo. And this plugin is pretty cool because it's free, and you can listen to your mix in mono. You can listen to only the sides. I'll show you that.
Your words.
Yeah, so you can check the sides of your mix, check your mix in mono, but it also has this stereo width knob in which you can either widen or narrow the mix. The thing is, you can't get as granular as you can with the plugin I was using before. So you can only jump from 100 all the way up to 150. But still, I think it's a worthwhile plugin to try out and mess around with to see if you can get your mixes a little bit wider. Guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to download your free Ultimate Home Studio Mix Guide. I made this for you guys so you could start getting your mixes sounding better. There's a lot of great information in there, and be sure to reach out if you have any questions or if you need any help with your mixes. Thanks.